It's another smartphone from Razer. This is the new Razer Phone 2, the guys behind the original gaming phone. I did a video on it last year, got a lot of attention from you guys, and I think the reason is that many of you are looking for differentiating factors in the smartphone space, not just another phone, but another phone with some different features and possibly a different focus. So that's kind of what this one is. I do expect it to be an improved version of the previous one, and that's interesting because the previous one had some features on it were kind of unprecedented. The 120 hertz display and the stereo speakers, which were probably the best speakers I had ever tested in this space on a smartphone. It's the best speaker I've ever heard on a smartphone. I think I even did a dedicated video comparing the Razer speakers to almost all of the other flagship smartphones. Your focus should be multimedia. Sound is a big part of that. It has a pretty big battery also, 4,000 milliamp hours. That's kind of a must. Gaming is very resource intensive, can drain your battery life quickly. This new model also adds wireless charging supposedly, so I'm kind of happy about that. They also came out with their very own wireless charger with the RGB effect going on as well. We showed the world a device that redefined the standard in mobile gaming. Now meet the Razer 2. This is very similar looking to the past one. Giant speaker grills on the top and bottom. Everybody's talking about screen to body ratio. In the case of the Razer Phone 2, it's a sound trade-off. Better speakers in exchange for not the greatest screen to body ratio. This is a very nice unboxing experience. A Razer branded SIM tool, that is very cool. So unfortunately, even though this device is focused on multimedia, there is no headphone jack built in, but they have given you this adapter right here, Type-C to mini jack. Nice braided Type-C charge cable. Quick charge power brick. Razer branded right there. Squared off edges. I mean, you just don't see this very often. If you look at their laptops, for example, this aesthetic, it carries through to those devices also. There is a new camera unit on the back as well. That was one of the criticisms with the previous version. The camera wasn't a huge focus for Razer on that particular device. Creating a better camera, which this one proposes to be, more attractive to people that want to substitute for some other flagship. There's a new Sony sensor, dual lens setup. So glass back, which opens up the wireless charging ability. That's a trade-off I'm willing to make personally. The location of the fingerprint scanner baked into the power switch. Your thumb kind of lands on it like this. There's no curved edges, and because of that design decision, you open up the opportunity to fit a fingerprint scanner in this region right here. Round buttons for volume control, USB Type-C port, capable of quick charge, as I said earlier. And then of course, the expandable storage, which lives within the SIM card tray. That's kind of a must for a phone targeting the group of people that this particular phone is targeting. Okay, let's go ahead and power this up. So what is so special about this phone? Why are people talking about it? First things first, it is of course the display. It's not OLED. I do need to tell you immediately, so you have to kind of adjust your expectations. What it does have, that as far as I know, no other smartphone has, is a 120 hertz display. It creates this incredible scrolling effect here, and you're not gonna see this properly in the video you're watching, but when you experience this in person, it's like, oh my god, I wish every display I ever used scrolled like this. It is so responsive. It feels like you're dealing with a more sensitive touchscreen. Now, unfortunately, there is no OLED display that I'm aware of in a smartphone that's capable of doing this. To my eyes, it does seem brighter than the previous version, which is good, but to really get a feel for it, I'd have to use it over a more extended period of time outside, in sunlight. Now, since this is a Razer device, you have the Chroma app baked right in, and this will allow you to control the logo on the back and the chroma effects. You can customize this to flash different colors for different types of notifications. So it's not just for looks, there's also some functionality baked in. Now I do want to check out these speakers. As I mentioned, the previous version, it totally changed my perspective and my expectations in general as far as what smartphone speakers are capable of. So I'm gonna launch some YouTube here to start. When I saw this online and I saw the demonstration, I was like, come on, show me where David Copperfield is. This doesn't look right. Like, that sounds good. Wow, that's loud. Initial impressions here, lot of sound coming out of there. Because you do have these configuration options, you can also kind of overdo it too. Experiment with it, get it where you like for YouTube, music, and so on. But the capacity is there, the capabilities are there. I'm gonna have to compare it to some others in an upcoming video. We'll find out if it's still the sound champion, but it's definitely up there, that's for certain. Okay, now what about the cameras? So you have the 1x and you have the 2x. This image, it's pretty sharp, pretty decent. Now, by default, it's got an automatic HDR setting, so it will take a look at the image and try to determine if HDR could help it or not. So because the new device has wireless charging, they have done their very own wireless charger. It's got 3 coils, an adjustable base, and of course, the Razer Chroma built in. Charger, which has some weight to it. There you go. Glowing, Razer green, and then the cycling, the breathing effect. Now there's a button on it, which I think disables the light. It does. That's a must. All right, I gotta snooze every so often. Regenerate some cells and have some REM sleep, you know? I can't be doing so with the disco tech. There you go, charging rapidly as well. So it's a quick charge, wireless charge. Now the cool thing about this dock is it'll work in portrait mode, but it will also work in landscape. There you go, charging rapidly once again. So if you do want to use it to watch video on a desk, for example, as I mentioned earlier, that's kind of a nice angle to do so. Okay, so this has been a preliminary unboxing, not a full review. In fact, it can't be yet. That video will be coming up at some point in the future. You know, I love to look at smartphones that are taking a slightly different approach, and this is definitely one of them. The exclusive 120 hertz display. It even has a special cooling plate which aims to keep the device cooler during extended gaming sessions. The one area that I'm a bit concerned with is price, especially considering where we're at today. I know I keep talking about it, but this thing is gonna be around 800 bucks. But where we're gonna have to really figure out whether or not that price is justified is when we truly examine this camera in more depth and check out this screen in other environments, outdoors, and so on. So what do you guys think? Are you interested in this phone? Should this be one that I switch to exclusively at some point? Let me know down in the comments section. I know I'm left with a bunch of questions, and I could see myself testing some of this stuff to see how it works in the real world and basically to figure out if Razer has a place in this flagship discussion, in this $800 starting price discussion. Choose your own adventure. Is this my next smartphone switch? Coming up shortly on Unbox Therapy. It's the Razer Phone 2. Would you personally buy a gaming phone, or are you satisfied with the standard run-of-the-mill smartphone? Let me know in the comments down below. There you have it. Unboxing, first impressions, Razer Phone 2.